This is why I'm so bullish on Launchpads. I just finished wrapping up a video about A for games, and hopefully you guys watched that one. And in that video I explained why you can get an average return of over 20x using Launchpads. And especially in this time of the cycle, they can get absolutely ridiculous returns. But there's so many little things and strategies and nuances that I want to discuss, and the way you can actually make money and keep money by getting it involved in Launchpads this cycle. What's up guys, my name is Tyrell, and for the past 4 years I've been making money online and investing the profits from my businesses into cryptocurrency. I've invested in over 40 different startups, and on this channel I show you how to make money and most importantly secure it and invest it into things like cryptocurrency. So far this cycle we've had 10x gains from projects like Nakamoto Games and Myriad Games, and if you look at my channel you can see that constantly we've been making amazing calls this cycle. We're doing amazing so far, but it's not over yet. In fact, we are only just getting started. So first things first, what you can do is if you go to a website called CryptoRank, you'll be able to go and have a look at the top ROI performing centralized exchange launchpads and IDO launchpads as well. Now there's two different types. With centralized exchange launchpads, these are ones that go straight on centralized exchanges. You don't usually get large amounts of allocation, but in a round which your confidence is very high. And one thing about venture capital is when you invest and take on more risk, you can lose all your money, but you get in at a better value. But once it's guaranteed, for example, right? Let's say you have a new project, they're a startup, but you don't know what launchpad they're going on. You don't know what centralized exchange they're going on, and you don't know if they're ever going to launch. So you get in an angel round. 10 of these angel round projects fail, but one of them ends up succeeding, getting listed on Binance, going on launchpads like Paid Network or Bullrun, and it ends up becoming a great project and everyone's talking about it. That ends up getting an amazing return. For example, Myriad Games performed very, very well. Nakamoto Games also performed very, very well. But for every good project, there are 10, if not hundreds of other projects that fail. That's why it's very important to learn due diligence, and I explain this on this channel. Now, let's say you invest into another project. It's launching on Binance. You go onto Binance, you stake the coins, or you do the required things that the CEX Launchpad tells you to do, and then you get given tokens. They're not going to give you $10,000 or $5,000 allocation. They might only give you $100, but we've seen that the average return on IDOs on Binance is over a 2,026% gain, which is ridiculous. That means that on average over the past 35 projects, you can make a 20x simply by going onto Binance and filling out the IDOs. Same thing for KuCoin over 400%. BYBIT also over a 400%. That's why it's so important to stay active and get involved with IDOs that launch on centralized exchanges. Now there is another method. Now not only can you get in on centralized exchanges, but also you can get in decentralized as well by getting involved on IDO projects as well. Now what IDOs are effectively launchpads, a little bit like Kickstarter. You've seen on Kickstarter, you can go on there, you can invest into early projects. Not all Kickstarter projects work, but some of them that have successfully worked have made thousands of % returns for the people that got involved. And it's exactly the same in crypto. The only thing is there is a lot more risk, and it's very important to read upon the projects that you invest into and make informed decisions. If we have a look at the average return on IDOs all time, you can see that Bounce, Forged, DAOmaker, CDFi and TrustSwap are making leads, but there are a few different things to have a look at. Things like current ROI, as you can see here, and things like all-time ROI too. There's also important to have a look at the time of the market in which each of these projects launched. For example, if you look at the current ROI, Bounce is taking the lead. But if we have a look at the all-time ROI, not only is Bounce still taking the lead, but also you can see other launchpads catching up behind it, such as Gamify, Solanium, Bullrun, PokerStar, and many, many more. Now there are different ways to play these types of launchpads, and each launchpads have their own requirements to get involved. For example, Paid Network, you don't need any tokens to be able to invest into a paid network project. Recently, they are going to be launching A for games, and they're going to be raising over $1 million. And in the open pool, you don't need any tokens. But if you want to get early access, you need 75,000 paid network tokens. And that is the reason why you can see paid network continuing to rise. Is it a good investment to still get into 75k paid? In my opinion, of course. In fact, last cycle, this token went over $6, and right now it's still just below 40 cents. So it's well over a 60% discount on what it used to be. And there's a reason why it went up to so much, and that's because the IDOs were so profitable. If we look at Paid Network's past performance, we'll see that the average return on investment at all-time high was over a 26x. Now, there are things that you need to take into account when investing into these types of projects, and the number one thing is vesting and tokenomics. One of the projects that I invest into and I had a great, amazing success in was Nakamoto Games. Now, Nakamoto Games is currently $1.80 and it's 30x up from the bottom price that it was at. However, when you look at the Launchpads and how it performed, if we have a look here, we'll see that there was multiple rounds that you could have got involved in on Nakamoto Games. You could have gotten at the private round 2, seed round, angel round, public sale on Moonstarter, public sale again on Synapse, and there's one section that was untracked. Now, at TGE, which means the token generation event, this is when projects decide to launch. The TGE just means when it launches, and when it launched at each of these rounds, you could have had a different amount. Private round, you was getting 10%, public sale round, you was getting 50%. For example, if you put in $1,000 at public sale for Nakamoto Games, you would have had $500 at launch. Now, at TGE, we can see that its performance at TGE to all-time high was over a 37x. That's a 37x from launch on the $500, which, if we do a little bit of maths here, $500 times 10, $5,000 times 3, $15,000. So it was over a $15,000 return from the $500 that you would have had at launch. And you still would have had 50% of your tokens to be vested, right? This is the reason why IDO and Launchpads perform very, very well. I remember investing into ShopX last cycle, and I made over $300,000 return for one single investment. And you can do the same simply by getting involved and investing into Launchpads. Now, which Launchpads do I think are the best, and which ones am I investing into this cycle? Taking into account things that we've discussed, like how much can I invest into the projects that launch? What am I investing? What am I getting at TGE? And the average return on Launchpads, I've broken down all of the best projects into a tier system. The best tier projects for me right now is Paid Network and CDFI. These ones on average gave me the best allocation in the best rounds possible with the best amount at TGE. Currently, I'm holding over 200,000 Paid Network tokens personally, and as a team, we hold over 400,000 tokens. In our NFT DAO, which you can learn about in the Telegram link down below, we also got everybody guaranteed allocation to Paid Network projects as well, because we're so bullish on these projects. Next, CDFI. I'm currently working on accumulating enough for guaranteed allocation in CDFI as well. And I'm also considering investing into BullPerks too, simply because BullPerks is still small and you can also get guaranteed allocation. A small gamble, and I would currently call it a B tier launchpad, is Launchblock as well. Launchblock is currently a $3 million market cap, and they also give you allocations into projects. Recently, a project called Grapes did over a 10x on Launchblock as well, so Launchblock isn't one to sleep on. Alternatively, if you want to have a look at some other IDO Launchpads as well, and let me know which ones you guys are doing in the comments, just check out the IDO pads below. The thing for me, which is very important, is I don't like lottery systems. You know, things like PokerStar, I love PokerStar and projects perform very, very well. They have a great success rate. However, with PokerStar, it's a lottery system, meaning if you have the token, it doesn't guarantee you anything. You just have to wait and hopefully wish that you're pot lucky. I don't like that, especially when it comes to a strategy of making sure that I make guaranteed money this cycle. I need guaranteed allocation, so I know for a fact I'm getting into these projects. One project that I really didn't like this cycle was GameFi. I staked over $15,000 worth of GameFi tokens, and they only gave me like $180 allocation into projects. That's not what I need. I need to be able to get $500, $1,000, you know, $5,000 in projects. And to do that, you need to be in projects like Paid Network, for example, which are raising over $1 million. They're the type of things you need. Now, one interesting thing about Paid Network is not only the IDOs that they launch are very good, but their new tokenomic system is amazing. They're going to be taking a percentage fee, which is around about 10%, which they charge for raising, and they take that 10% and market buy tokens on the market, which is absolutely insane. If you think about it, Paid network, let's say they raise $1 million, they take 10%, well that's $100,000 that's going to be market brought on this token right now, and that's just one project. In fact, the very first. If we look at how many projects they did last cycle, they did over 85 different projects and raised over $2 million. Assuming that we stay up to date, that will be over $2.3 million of tokens market brought back from paid network, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's everything for Launchpads, how you can invest, my opinions on the market as well, and the Launchpads that I'm going to be investing in. Guys, I really hope you enjoy this altcoin season, and if you want to learn more about crypto and go through a full tutorial on exactly how you can get started, A to Z, beginner to advanced, check out the next video. Peace.